Welcome to the next episode, everybody. Take a look at what we just installed. These are going to be the 3/4 inch pedestals for our captain chairs that go to the left and right in the forward section behind the controls and the glove box. The idea here is to kind of give this area some added strength without making it look too gawky, if you would. Originally, what I was thinking about doing with these pedestal stands is to kind of have it touch both stringers, which you can see here, but practically it wasn't going to look very good by doing that. So what I did was come up with a good median, which in this case is offer a 12 inch pedestal, and that's square, by the way. And you can see this is the pedestal that I have, and I'll show you those in a later episode. It's 9 inches, so it kind of gives it some extra meat. And what's interesting is you can actually stand right here where this captain chair is going to be, and you'll see that it's actually pretty rigid here. And just in general, the 1/2 inch isn't as rigid. I have built flooring before which had 3/4 throughout. It makes the boat significantly heavier, and I wanted to try something different in this boat by making it 1/2 inch on the floor. But one of the side effects I noticed is it's just not as rigid, but it's flexible. And in a boat with fiberglass, Kevlar, and epoxy, you want that ability to have some flexibility. So anyway, for longevity purposes, I went ahead and added this 3/4 inch pedestal to support the aluminum pedestal and make it that much more rigid in here. All right, and you'll see as we're going to use the epoxy thickening compound here to kind of help bridge the gap, and then we'll lay Kevlar over the entire piece here. So this is kind of what it looks like now, and I've duplicated it on both sides. So it's kind of interesting too on how you're going to make this square. I've used a variety of different methods, one of them being the laser here that will give us a digital reading, and I shot it from here to here back towards the transom, and that gives us a pretty good accurate measurement. And to kind of square it up with the boat the best we can, I went to the outsides over there to help square it up a little bit better, and it came out pretty good. So just an idea as you're making provisions for your pedestal and your chairs up front, something to think about. There were different captain chairs originally in the boat, and I've since taken those out and decided not to use them and went with a more updated traditional style. One's chairs, and you'll see it on the next episodes. These chairs will allow you to spin all the way around. You can move forward and back. There's no tilt function, which is not that big of a deal, but that's kind of what we got going on here. All right, so here's what this episode is going to be mainly about, is the ski locker. So you notice we got a few. This is the original ski locker, if you remember from, I think it was like episode 1. This one is an aluminum frame. I've had some of these before where they're made out of wood, and it's just a metal frame around the outside. This one's actually aluminum throughout. Everything is. It does have hydraulics on it, and I was able to find a replacement hydraulic lifter, as the original one was definitely dead. This one specifically, as you can see, is 21 wide and 36 long. So what we're going to do, and what I've kind of already done here, is I brought out this old ski locker to get the actual measurements here. And then what I did was I squared up, get this out of the way. I went ahead and took the line, because I want to make this as straight as possible, and I drew the lines of where the stringers are on the left and right. So it's 21 inches, and then we allowed equal distances from the center line for 21, and then we did 36 that way. So it's kind of hard to see, and if you remember before, and you can see the Kevlar, this is where the seam was. So what I did was I took advantage of this little seam, because I could have moved the ski locker that way. So the point of this part of the conversation is utilize your seams here, because if you've got a piece of wood that is already cut here, you've got a square piece, use this as one side and shoot your measurements off of that this square piece right here. It's only going to be there to help you. So consider it. Anyway, so we squared this up, 21 by 36, and I'm going to use this seam here as one of the end pieces, and then you'll find one of the things that we're going to run into when we cut this side, we're going to have roughly, this looks like about 10 inches. I'm going to have to come back and make that piece that we were talking about, that kind of bridges, it's like a clamp, so to speak, and I'll have to re-add that under the floor. Not a big deal. I'm not really worried about it all, but for the time being, I just have to make sure not to step in this area here, because this piece is going to be kind of weak. So we'll come back and add that section now that we know where the ski locker is going to go. So this will get repaired as soon as we get the ski locker cut out. So there we go. Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get this ski locker cut out, is I'm going to use a hole saw to drill right here precisely in the corner, and then likely you can use a circular saw if you like. I'm going to probably use a jigsaw just because I'm more comfortable with staying along the lines with the jigsaw, but you can use circular saw too. It's whatever you're interested in. So anyway, let's go ahead and start drilling these corners out here so we can make room for the jigsaw blade to go in. Okay, so you can see here, being very careful not to cut into that other piece. Well, that's not the biggest deal in the world, but made sure I didn't cut in there, and then we'll use the circular saw to start cutting along the length here. Okay, made our first cut along the line. Kind of interesting, as soon as I made that cut, this board kind of just went upwards a little bit, so that's kind of interesting. We'll see how it goes when we start cutting along here. Will be our next cut, so we'll do another hole saw cut over here. Okay, clean that up a little bit, right on the mark, perfect. I'll go ahead and cut back a little bit, and then we'll cut this side here. Okay, looks good. All right, and one more run to make, and this will be ready to drop. We'll be able to see inside the ski locker for the first time since we put the flooring in. All right. Clean that off. Nice, good cut. Let's cut along here. Okay, so I stopped right before getting to the Kevlar. Now, you may want to turn your volume down a little bit, because I'm going to show you what it looks like as I cut through the Kevlar with the jigsaw blade. So hit that volume down button just for a little bit, and I'll show you live what it looks like as I cut through it. It's not too crazy, but I figured I'd show you. All right, here we go. So, as you can see, cutting through that really wasn't that bad. It actually cuts pretty easily once it's got epoxy on it. One thing to note here is I actually did epoxy this line, so you can see the whole ski locker's completely cut out, and look what's holding it. It's kind of interesting. Like, check this out. This is like a testament to how strong Kevlar is. It's completely cut all the way around, and the only thing holding it is roughly a 1-inch piece of Kevlar, and look how much bounce is in it. This is why I'm saying, if you're considering whether or not to get Kevlar versus 1708, I mean, I've used 1708. I've never done this test with it, but look at this. I mean, that's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, let's get crazy with it here. Look at this. I mean, come on. Look at this. There's like 6 inches of travel. Anyway, you can actually start to see the joint move after that. So anyway, let's go ahead. Just so you know, if you try to use the hole saw right here, it will go through and it will completely disintegrate your bit here. So don't do it. So anyway, I'm going to hit pause here. I'll drill through right here and then finish cutting across the Kevlar. Okay, that's all it took. Let's go ahead and maneuver this piece of plywood out of here. It's been a while since we saw the ski locker, right? Pretty cool. There's our friendly Kevlar again. And there's our drain for the ski locker. Everything's looking good. Run my fingers under here, make sure when we put these stringers in, everything looks good. So yeah, super happy about that. Anyway, let's go ahead and do a quick test fit and see if the old ski locker will fit in place. And I still need to go through and sand all these edges down. Okay. Looks like it fits pretty darn good. Let's put our finger in here. Alright. Raises up and closes. Good. So we want to make sure too we've got no bare wood exposed on any of our screw holes, so that's looking good. I'd say this was a success. So anyway, what's up next? I'm going to go ahead and take this carpet off. Alright. And just in case you're wondering, the color we're going to use on the replacement is going to be a red. Oh, anyway, enough with that. Here's what it looks like. Squared it up pretty good in the boat. Runs right along the lines with the stringers. So that is how you install the entryway or access port, whatever terminology you want to use, for the ski locker. Just keep in mind, use your stainless steel screws. Probably you don't need 1 5/8 inches to go through this little bitty 1/2 inch plywood. So maybe, I don't know. I'll look and see what depth we're going to end up using here, because simply put, I'm just going to measure the thickness of here, thickness of that, and also I'll allow for some caulking as well. I'm likely, even though this isn't a waterproof area, if you look, there's no seal anywhere in here. Just kind of gives it a little bit more strength. And then the other thing too, you want to consider, if you've got water that's splashed over, you don't want it to naturally go into the ski locker. If you can, if you run a bead of caulking in here, it'll kind of seep to the back of the boat and doesn't force everything in here. You got a little bit of a lip here, so in theory any kind of water that's just seeping through the carpet will just make its way to the back of the boat. But that's it. That's going to be it for this episode. I hope you liked it. This is our ski locker install. Got any questions or anything, throw it in the comments field below. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber to my channel. And we will catch you on the next episode. Have a good one, everybody.